Welcome back to my channel, everyone. 3Tips here, and what we have is some accumulated carrot scrap that we've saved up. This is all 14K material. I'm going to add this to our melt dish here, and it looks like we have 73 grams of 14K. Now we're going to zero the scale. I've got some 10K scrap gold here. We'll add this to the melt dish. We've got 101.7 grams, 101.7 grams of 10K. Let's zero the scale. I don't have any 18K this time around, but I do have some pure gold here from my previous video. There were some pieces down here. These two little chunks here flew out of the melt dish, and I recovered those. And then we have a couple pieces here that didn't dissolve in the last video. And then I've got my little 3-gram button of pure gold here from my bobbing compound video number 5. I'm going to add this in, and we've got 3.1 grams of 24K, 0 grams of 18. Now we'll take this out and start melting up the carrot scrap and get it ready to quart with silver. Here I've determined how much silver I need to properly quart this amount of gold. I need 166.1 grams of sterling silver. I've got some scrap silver here that I used. And what we've done is I've pre-measured it. I've got a container here. And what we'll do is zero this out. And here's the silver that I'll use to do our inquartation of our carat gold. 166.1 grams. Let's take this out now and inquart the molten gold. Here's our imported gold. I've got it transferred into our beaker so we can complete this reaction. So what we'll do now is I'm going to set it up here. We're going to add some distilled water to it. Probably about 200 milliliters or so. Now we'll add some nitric acid to it. The same amount to make a 50-50 dilute solution of nitric acid. What will happen here is the nitric acid will go in and remove the silver and the base metals in that imported gold for us, but it will not dissolve the gold. It'll leave that behind. You can see here that the reaction takes off immediately, even though the solution is cold. The nitric acid begins attacking the silver and the base metals that we alloyed with the gold, plus any silver and base metals that were already in our carat scrap. So now what we'll do is we're going to put a lid on this thing, set it up on some heat, and this will be our first nitric acid boil number 1. Our first nitric acid boil is complete. So what we'll do is pour off this solution. It's going to be full of silver. And I've got a container over here that's also full of sterling silver. And this will dissolve or consume any excess nitric that might still remain in this solution. Now what we'll do is add some distilled water to the gold. Set it back up on the heat. Next, I've got some nitric acid. Add some nitric. And this will be nitric acid boil number 2. Nitric boil number 2 is complete. What we'll do now is pour off this solution. And that's got quite a bit of excess nitric still in it. You see it's reacting fairly vigorously with the silver that's in here. And here's what the gold looks like down inside the beaker. You can tell it's got a totally different appearance to it now. Now we'll add some distilled water and follow that up with some nitric acid. Let's put this back up on the heat and allow this to continue to boil. And we're going to call this one nitric acid boil number 3. The rest of that liquid poured off into my silver jar, and then I started nitric boil number 4. Let's see how this is going to do. Get this poured off into here. We're almost done here, I believe. Bit more water. Set it up on the heat. Let's pour in some more nitric acid. And this will be nitric boil number 5. Our 5th nitric acid boil is complete. You can see the solution is pretty much colorless. So what we'll do is we're going to pour this off now and save it, because we can use this nitric acid in a future video to dissolve some silver and base metals out of some incorporated gold. Now we'll rinse this out. And I'll pour this rinse water. Let me adjust the camera here. Pour the rinse water in here. And now I'm adding distilled water to the gold. We're going to boil it in some distilled water for just a few minutes. Our gold has been boiling in distilled water for about 10 minutes or so. And what we'll do is we'll pour this distilled water boil off to this silver jar. And then what we're going to do, got some hydrochloric acid. I'm adding about 400 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. Let me put in some sulfuric acid. What this will do is this will combine with any lead that may be present in here, forming lead sulfate, and then we can precipitate it out and filter it out. Now what we'll do, so I'm gonna hurry here kind of today, so I'm gonna add an excess of nitric here. I put in about what is that, 70 milliliters of nitric acid. I'm gonna dump this right on in and let this react. I think I've got this evaporated down, and all the excess nitric has been expelled from here now. Take it down off the heat and let it cool down. This has been allowed to cool down for a few minutes. Still kind of warm. I'm going to ice it down to dilute it, to cool it down, and to precipitate out any silver chloride that may be present. Got the solution cooled down now. What we'll do is I've got a filter set up. I'm using a medium flow #2 filter. So what we'll do here is wet this thing. Now, go ahead and pour our solution through this filter. Here's a look at the junk in our filter. So what we'll do now is pull our filter off of here, pull the funnel off of here, get it out of the way. Look at that solution. Single refining. Very nice. Let's transfer it into this clean beaker. Let's get in here, get us a stannous test. Boom. Black stain means gold in solution. Here we go. Let's do the precipitation. We're going to use SMB. We're just going to use spoonfuls of it. Zoomed in here. Here goes the first spoon of SMB. Bang. that'll do it. Yeah, I think we got everything to come down now. Let's get in here and get a stannous test. Yeah, I can tell by the color that all the gold has precipitated. And there you can see all the gold has been precipitated. I've allowed this to settle for about 20 minutes. It's looking fairly decent in there. Now what we'll do is we'll pour off the waste into our temporary waste container. That's what our gold looks like. Now what we'll do is rinse it a few times with some distilled water. Here we go. Let's see if we can get our gold down into this melt dish. Some of this water out of here. Let's melt this up into a bar. Here's our little gold ingot. It looks very nice. Got a little bit of skin on this side over here, but that's nothing much. We were expecting an estimated yield of 88 grams. Let's put it up here on the scale and see what our actual yield is. Very close. 87.5 grams of pure gold. I did this in record time. Took about 10 hours to get this done. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. This will conclude the video.